Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're taking on Microsoft Excel, but we are going to do it in a completely hands-on, highly practical way. We're looking at a guided learning path that takes you from staring at this kind of intimidating, totally blank grid, all the way to creating a fully functional, shareable monthly budget. You can really think of this as a build-along project. We're not just going to memorize random buttons today. Instead, we're learning a complete workflow that you can immediately use for school, for work, or just figuring out your own personal finances.
So, here is the roadmap for our build-along journey. We'll be moving through 5 main sections: getting started with Excel, entering data and calculating, formatting your worksheet, visualizing and organizing data, and finally, reviewing, sharing, and help. All right, Section 1, getting started with Excel. Okay, let's dive into this. As we open Excel for the web in our browser, which, by the way, is incredibly powerful because it automatically saves your work right to the cloud and lets you work from literally any device. Let's clear up a really common beginner confusion right off the bat, and that is the difference between a workbook and a worksheet. Honestly, they sound like the exact same thing, right? But try thinking about it this way. A workbook is the entire Excel file. It's like a full, thick physical notebook. A worksheet, on the other hand, is just a single grid inside that file. So it's basically like one single page within that notebook. You can have tons of worksheets inside one workbook, and knowing that distinction from the get-go is going to keep you perfectly organized.
Now, when you're exploring this environment, you'll notice the ribbon at the top with its various tabs and groups, and the main worksheet grid down below made up of rows and columns. To navigate this grid, you need to track your active cell, which is always shown up in the name box, and that brings us to the cell reference. A cell reference is really just the address of a specific box or cell on your screen. There's an interesting rule to note here too. You always write the column letter first and the row number second, so B2 for example. Understanding this map is absolutely critical because literally everything we do later, from writing formulas to building charts, depends completely on identifying the correct cell references.
Section 2, entering data and calculating.
To breathe a little life into our blank grid, we'll start by entering our everyday budget categories. Things like rent, groceries, utilities, transport, and entertainment, along with their monthly dollar amounts. Now, as you type that data in, it's actually fascinating to see how Excel treats text and numbers completely differently. Text is used for labels and headings, and you'll probably notice Excel usually automatically aligns it to the left side of the cell. Numbers, though, are actual values that Excel can mathematically calculate, and they usually align to the right. So here's a major watch-out moment for you. If you type a number in a way that accidentally gets stored as text, your formulas just won't calculate properly. That left or right alignment is your instant, visual clue to ensure your data is clean and ready to go.
Once your numbers are perfectly entered, well, it's time to do some math. We'll start off with the AutoSum tool. To get your total monthly spending, you just select the empty cell right below your amounts and click the AutoSum button. Excel is going to automatically highlight the numbers it thinks you want to add up. So the absolute most crucial part of this process is verifying Excel's highlighted range. Look closely at that box. Does it say B2:B6? Don't just trust the tool blindly here. Always double-check the range it gives you before pressing enter to get your total.
AutoSum is great for sure, but pretty soon you're going to want to write your own custom calculations, and that requires a formula. A formula is basically just an instruction manual for Excel, and it must always start with an equal sign. That's the signal that tells Excel, hey, it's time to do some math. Next comes the function name and then the argument inside parentheses. So you might type equals average, parentheses, B2:B6, parentheses. If you forget that equal sign at the very beginning, Excel's just going to stare at you and treat your typing as plain, everyday text.
Now, what if you want to calculate the annual cost for every single one of those categories? You definitely do not want to retype that same multiplication formula 5 separate times. Enter the fill handle. It's this tiny little square at the bottom right of your active cell. When you grab it and drag it down a column, it copies your formula and magically adjusts the cell references for each new row. So your rent formula shifts down to automatically become your groceries formula, and so on. It is an absolute game changer that is going to save you a massive amount of time.
Section 3, formatting your worksheet.
You know, formatting isn't just about decoration. It communicates structure and tells whoever is reading your spreadsheet exactly what the data means and where the most important takeaways are located. A totally brilliant shortcut for this is using cell styles. These are ready-made, professionally designed formatting choices built right into Excel itself. With literally a single click, you can apply a specific heading style to the top of your columns, or maybe a total style with bold text and clean borders to the bottom. Applying these styles visually organizes your worksheet, breaking up that overwhelming wall of text so a reader can instantly scan and understand your layout.
Now, what's really interesting about this is understanding how number formatting actually works behind the scenes. When you enter your rent, you just type the number 1200. But when you apply currency formatting, Excel displays it beautifully as a $, a 1, a comma, 200.00. Here is the critical takeaway, though. Applying that format changes the display, but the underlying stored value remains exactly 1200. Formatting changes how a value looks, not the actual data itself.
Section 4. Visualizing and organizing data. So now it's time to turn those raw budget numbers into compelling visuals, which brilliantly illustrates the true power of charts. By inserting a pie or a donut chart, you instantly communicate parts of a whole. A viewer can immediately see exactly how much of their pie is eaten up by rent versus, say, entertainment. But here's the trick to generating it correctly. When you go to create the chart, you absolutely must highlight both your text labels and your numerical amounts. If you only select the numbers, Excel won't have a clue what to name the slices, and your chart just won't make any sense.
Next up, we need to organize the file itself using Sheet tabs. Take a look at the bottom of your screen. By default, Excel names your tab Sheet 1, which, let's be honest, tells us absolutely nothing. You need to rename that Sheet tab to something meaningful, like Budget. You can even change the Sheet tab color if you want. Taking just a few seconds to organize these tabs makes navigation so much easier, especially when you start working on massive workbooks that have dozens of different sheets.
And beyond the visible sheet, we also have document properties. You can think of this as the metadata describing the file itself, things like the title, the author, and keywords. This information isn't floating around inside your worksheet grid. It's attached to the file totally behind the scenes. Filling this out is a complete pro move because it makes your budget file searchable. Weeks or even months later, when you're looking for that specific budget on your computer or your cloud drive, those keywords will help you find it instantly.
Section 5. Reviewing, sharing, and help.
We are crossing the finish line here. Before we send this budget off to a boss, a teacher, or a family member, your absolute best friend in this phase is Print Preview. Before you ever hit print, or even before you save the file as a PDF to email it, check the preview. This lets you adjust the orientation to landscape or properly scale a sheet to fit entirely on one single page. Taking just a moment to review the layout ensures your beautiful, hard work doesn't print awkwardly, leaving half your budget mysteriously cut off on a second sheet of paper. Now here is one of my absolute favorite features in the entire program, the Auto Calculate area on the status bar at the very bottom right of the Excel window. If you just click and drag to highlight a few numbers in your budget, glance down at that status bar. Excel instantly displays quick statistics like the sum, the average, and a count of the selected cells. It is a fantastic, super fast trick for verifying numbers on the fly without having to type permanent formulas into your nice clean sheet.
Okay, let's talk about error values. You might see things like #dev-0 or #value pop up in a cell. And here's another big watch-out moment. These are not actually failures. They're just highly fixable diagnostic messages telling you something is slightly off with your formula or your cell references. You can just hover right over them for tips to fix the data, or you can even use a really neat function called iError to basically wrap those warnings up in a friendly custom text message so they don't look so scary.
Finally, always remember this. Nobody memorizes every single button in Excel, not even the biggest pros. If you get stuck, simply click the Help tab or look for the Search or Tell Me box right at the top of the screen. You can type exactly what you want to do in plain, everyday English. Excel will instantly provide built-in tutorials, solutions, and directly point you to the commands you need. Because true expertise isn't about memorization, it's just knowing how to search effectively.
And that brings us perfectly to our big takeaway. Excel skills literally build in layers, and each skill supports the next. By taking this step by step, from entering basic data to verifying auto sums, to applying your styles, generating charts, and checking your print layout, you haven't just made a simple budget. You've actually built a really solid, totally reusable foundation of logical skills that you can apply to literally any spreadsheet you will ever create. You now know exactly how to transform an empty grid into a clear, professional tool that saves automatically to the cloud and communicates exactly what you want it to. So the only thing left to ask is, how are you going to use your new Excel skills to organize your world? Will you tackle your personal finances, absolutely ace that school assignment, or maybe streamline a massive project at work? The grid is waiting for you. Thanks for joining me on this explainer, and happy building.